Sapakaya Chadhamasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Sapakaya Chadhamasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today is most auspicious day of the year, the first day of the new year. We have stepped into the millennium. So, on special occasions like this, spiritual gate is kept open for the people to take an opportunity to enter into spiritual world. God provides many occasions for people to turn towards God. On these special occasions, God manifests Himself in a special way in order to bestow grace and blessings. But what we see generally, people on these special days just relax in a materialistic way, drinking, dancing, playing cards. So they become more worldly on these days than ordinary days. That means, though the opportunities are given by God, people are not making use of them, and so people get more and more involved in the world. No way to get out. Today is a very special day. Sri Ramakrishna blessed the devotees who were in the Kasipur garden house. Sri Ramakrishna thought, before casting off his mortal frame, he just wanted to give them the taste of spirituality. So out of his infinite grace, he just touched the head of the devotee, all the devotees, and he gave them spiritual glimpse of the reality. To make it establish, they should practice spiritual disciplines more vigorously. Sri Ramakrishna's method of imparting spiritual instruction is remarkably unique. There is no place of dogma, bigotry, intolerance. There is no place in Sri Ramakrishna's religion. Sri Ramakrishna was concerned about how to uplift the mankind. Sri Ramakrishna has said very clearly that there is infinite moral and spiritual potential in everyone. So the foremost duty in life is to develop that potential. Are we doing it? He taught man to strive to develop that potential without wasting time over meaningless sense pleasures or religious quibblings. So Sri Ramakrishna is very clear about how one should walk through spiritual life. Religions are like so many paths, all leading to God Himself. But one reaches his religious goal only when he attains his highest moral development. Unless you develop your spiritual personality, you will not be able to experience the highest truth. It is true, God is both personal and impersonal. It is really difficult to conceive an impersonal God. So, to begin with, Sri Ramakrishna suggests God has to be thought of as a person. Can anyone think of the white color without thinking of a white object? One can look at the morning sun, but not at the midday sun. Similarly, when God is manifest in a person, we know what God is like. Otherwise, God is impersonal and beyond thought and speech. Sri Ramakrishna himself suggests to have a personal God, adore Him, worship Him, focus on Him, pray to Him, surrender to Him. You get everything. He Himself will take you to impersonal aspect. Nothing to worry. In God there cannot be any worry at all. Whether personal God or impersonal God. Once you realize the truth, you will be in eternal peace and bliss. So, you are born in this world to undertake spiritual disciplines. Not that you are born in this world to do jobs and go on doing job up to 70, 80 years. At the age of 79, you get retirement. Then you want to do spiritual practice. It is utterly laughable. Well, Sri Ramakrishna, again, he gives the technique of how to conduct oneself in this world. Be in the world, but not of it. That means don't get entangled yourself in the world. Perform your duties as well and as best as you can. But do not count too much upon the fruits of your actions. Rather, surrender yourself to God. Try to feel as if you are only a tool in the hands of God. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachan. Lord Krishna very emphatically teaches Arjuna. Be an instrument. Be proud to be an instrument of God. If you are to be proud, use that proud in this way. Religion is an experience. It makes no sense unless its truths are experienced. And Sri Ramakrishna again explains it through a simile. Is your thirst satisfied unless you drink water when you are thirsty? God is everywhere. It is true. But He is invisible, but He is most manifest in man. So serve man as God. Serving humanity is worshipping God Himself. That's what Sri Ramakrishna very clearly taught to Vivekananda, and Vivekananda gave that ideal to the Ramakrishna mission. Atmano mokshartham jagadhitaya cha. Just erase yourself totally in serving humanity. Don't think of anything else. Just serve the humanity. Serve wholeheartedly. Serve with a spiritual attitude. Always be watchful about your spiritual aspiration. Surely you will get everything what you need. And God rushes forward to bless you in every possible way. Like stars in the daylight, God is invisible. In the daylight you can't see stars. Can you therefore say that there are no stars in the sky during the day? So because you can't find God in the days of your ignorance, don't say there is no God. How nicely he gives similes and explains his teachings. People who are embedded in Maya, they are like a piece of iron thickly embedded in mud. Just like the iron with mud is unmoved by the power of the magnet, so also the person is unaffected by the Lord. When the mud is washed away with water, it frees the iron. Likewise, when Maya is washed away with prayer, worship, man is automatically drawn towards God. He is automatically attracted to God. To explain God after merely reading the scriptures is like explaining a city after seeing it on a map. A meteorological report may forecast heavy rainfall, but you can't squeeze a single drop from the paper on which the report is written. So also, there are many, many good sayings are found in holy books. There are holy scriptures, but merely reading them won't make you spiritually wise. Of course, the first step is to know them, but immediate step to be followed is practice. That's what Sri Ramakrishna meant. An unbaked cake of flour sizzles loudly when put in heated oil. The more it is fried, the less is its noise. When it is fully fried, the noise ceases altogether. Likewise, when a man has a little knowledge, he goes about talking and chattering. A truly wise man doesn't make a vain display of his wisdom. Young bamboo bends easily, while full-grown bamboo breaks when bent with force. So, young minds bend easily towards spiritual thoughts, as their minds has not yet stored up with contamination. So, it is very essential to train the children, to make them acquainted with spiritual ideas. It's very, very important. And another ideal Sri Ramakrishna placed before us for our spiritual upliftment, that is, all women are parts of the Blessed Mother. So they should be looked upon as the embodiments of Divine Mother. If you cherish this idea intensely in your heart, there will not be any trace of lust in your mind. And you will receive the grace of God so that you will pursue your spiritual practices more vigorously. A spiritual aspirant may live in the world, but the world should not live in his mind. A boat may stay in water, but water should not stay in the boat. Live like a lotus leaf in water, or like a mud fish in the marsh. A spiritual person lives in the material world without being obsessed with it. Milk poured into water mixes readily with it. But when converted into butter, it no longer gets mixes but floats on top. Do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. Live with all, with wife, children, father, mother. Serve them. Serve them as if they were very dear to you. But know in your heart of hearts that they do not really belong to you. There is nothing wrong in your being in the world, but you must direct your mind towards God. Otherwise, you will not succeed. So directing the mind towards God is very important if you are trying to practice spirituality. Starting from the day, how you are able to tune the mind towards spiritual ideas. Throughout the day, how you are able to maintain that spiritual attitude in your behavior, in your actions, in your thinking. Every step is important. Do your duty with one hand and with the other hold to God. After the duty is over, you will hold to God with both hands. Vision of God is obtained when the mind is perfectly tranquil. When the sea of one's mind is agitated by the waves of desires, it can't reflect God. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of a kite and a fish. A kite with a fish in its beak was chased by a large number of crows, and screaming kites pecking at it, trying to snatch away the fish. Wherever it went, the flock of birds followed it. Tired and exhausted of the chase, the kite threw away the fish. Instantly, the flock veered off in the direction of the fish. The kite now sat calm and undisturbed upon the branch of a tree. As long as a person does not cast aside the burden of worldly desires, he cannot be at peace with himself. So in every teaching there is tremendous significance, and we have to apply these teachings in our daily life. Ceremonies and rituals, they are useful up to a certain point for the growth of spiritual thoughts. However, they become not useful for him who has realized the highest truth, namely God. Just as the oyster shell that contains a precious pearl is in itself of very little value, but is essential for the growth of the pearl. To acquire the power of concentration, a person must begin by fixing the mind on a God with a form. Only then can he meditate on the formless. Once the mind has been trained to focus on an idol, it is easy for him to focus on the formless. Sri Ramakrishna gives an example. A marksman learns to shoot by first aiming at big objects. As he gets more skilled in shooting, he targets smaller and smaller objects. After 14 years of hard penance, a person acquired the supernatural power to walk on water. When he displayed this power, his brother rebuked him. What you have accomplished in 14 years, ordinary men can do by paying a few pennies to the boatman. How nicely Sri Ramakrishna is drawing our attention to the reality, not to be swayed away by any distractions. Supernatural powers, they are also terrible distractions. Once a person acquires them, it keeps him always engaged in using those powers. When Sri Ramchandra got training under Vishwamitra, he became expert in archery. All these special signs of discharging the arrows, missiles, Sri Ramchandra learned. Astra Shastra Vidya, he became master in all this. Then all the deities, they came to Sri Ramchandra and said, "Oh Master, we are ready to serve you." Then Sri Ramchandra said, "Well, I don't need now. When I need, I will call you." So he just kept them aside. There are several bathing banks or ghats on a large river. A person goes to whichever ghat he pleases, but reaches the same water. There is no point in quarreling over the merits of the various ghats. Every religion of the world is like a ghat. Each has its own plus and minus points. and each leads to the water of eternal bliss. The one and the same water is called by different names in different languages. So the one Satchidananda existence, consciousness, bliss is invoked by some as Allah, by some as Hari, Rama, and by others as Jesus. They are all referring to the same Satchidananda Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna gives an analogy. Two persons were hotly disputing over the color of chameleon they had seen on a tree. One said that it was red. Immediately the other one, he refuted. And he said, no, it cannot be red. It was blue. Unable to resolve the difference, they went to a person who lived under the tree and had watched the chameleon in all its phases. He knew that chameleon constantly changes color. So when these men came to him, he agreed with both of them. For the chameleon is red, it is as well as blue. Likewise, a devotee who has seen God only in one aspect knows that aspect alone. None but he who has seen him in manifold aspects can say, all these forms are of the one God, for God is multiformed. God is both formless and with form, and infinite are his forms. Then again, Sri Ramakrishna teaches Viveka and Vairagya, discrimination and dispassion. They are the two purifying agents in our life. Put a purifying agent like alum into a vessel of muddy water and see how impurities settle down at the bottom, making the water clear again. Similarly, Viveka and Vairagya help our restless senses to settle down and clear our minds of tensions and anxieties. A person who is fond of fishing first gathers detailed information about a pond, the type of fish it contains, and the most suitable bait to catch them. He then goes to the pond with his fishing rod and bait and waits there patiently until he gets an attractive catch. Similarly, a spiritual aspirant should first gain knowledge from scriptures and spiritual masters. Then he should try to seek God with the bait of faith and devotion, with his mind as the fishing rod. With unceasing patience, he must wait for the fullness of time. Only then will he realize the divine. Once a disciple asked his guru, when shall I see God? Then Guru took his disciple to the sea and immersed his head in water. After some time he released him and asked, how did you feel? Desperate for breath, replied the devotee. On hearing this, the Guru said, you shall see God when you are as desperate for him as you were for breath. How nicely Sri Ramakrishna teaches spiritual ideas. It's remarkable. Again, Sri Ramakrishna explains, love can be unselfish, samartha, reciprocal, samanjasa, or selfish. The unselfish lover seeks only the welfare of his beloved, even at the cost of personal hardship and pain. In reciprocal love, the lover desires happiness both for self and his beloved. When love is selfish, the lover cares only for his own happiness. Another example is very significant. 4 blind men went out to see an elephant. One touched the leg of the elephant and said, "The elephant is like a pillar." The second one touched the trunk and said, "The elephant is like a thick club." The third one touched the belly and said, "The elephant is like a big wall." The fourth one touched the ears and said, "The elephant is like a big winnowing basket." Thus they began to dispute hotly among themselves as to the shape of the elephant. Please note, all of them are blind. A passerby, seeing them thus quarreling, said, "What is it you are disputing about?" They told him everything and asked him to arbitrate. The man said, "None of you has seen the elephant. The elephant is not like a pillar. Its legs are like pillars. It is not like a winnowing basket. Its ears are like winnowing baskets. It is not like a club. Its trunk is like a club. The elephant is a combination of all these: legs, ears, belly, trunk, and so on." In the same manner, those who quarrel about the nature of God have each seen only one aspect of the deity. See how Sri Ramakrishna explains the sublime truths of religion in an extremely simple way, but effectively. And spirituality is the way of life. We must aspire for spiritual life. That alone gives you real peace and happiness. So on this special day, Kalpataru Day, let us pray to Sri Ramakrishna that he may awaken us into spiritual life. Page 746. How many other visions I saw while meditating during my sadhana? Once I was meditating under the belfry when sin appeared before me and tempted me in various ways. He came to me in the form of an English soldier. He wanted to give me wealth, honor, sex pleasure, various occult powers, and such things. I began to pray to the Divine Mother. Now I am telling you something very, 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 very secret. The mother appeared. I said to her, "Kill him, mother." I still remember that form of the mother, her world bewitching beauty. She came to me taking the form of Krishna Mahi, the young daughter of Balaram Bose. But it was as if her glance moved the world. Sri Ramakrishna became silent. Resuming his reminiscences, he said, "How many other visions I saw, but I am not permitted to tell them. Someone is shutting my mouth, as it were. I used to find no distinction between the sacred Tulasi and the insignificant Sajjana leaf. The feeling of distinction was entirely destroyed. Once I was meditating under the banyan tree when I was shown a Mussulman with a long beard. It was perhaps a vision of Muhammad, the founder of Islam. He came to me with rice in an earthen plate. He fed some other Muslimans with the rice and also gave me a few grains to eat. The mother showed me that there exists only one and not two. It is Chidananda alone that has taken all these various forms. He alone has become the world and its living beings, and it is He who has become food. To Girish M and others, Sri Ramakrishna said, I have the nature of a child. Hriday said to me, Uncle, ask the mother for some occult powers. At once I went to the temple to ask her about them. At that time God had put me in such a state that I had to listen to those who lived with me. I felt like a child who sees darkness all around unless someone is with him. I felt as if I should die unless Hriday was near me. You see, I'm in that state of mind just now. While I'm speaking to you, my inner spirit is being awakened. As Sri Ramakrishna uttered these words, he was on the point of plunging into samadhi and losing consciousness of time and space. But he was trying with the utmost difficulty to control himself. He said to the devotees in an ecstatic mood, I still see you, but I feel as if you had been sitting here forever. I don't recall when you came or where you are. Sri Ramakrishna was silent a few minutes. Then regaining partial consciousness, he said, I shall have a drink of water. He often said things like this after samadhi in order to bring down his mind to the ordinary plane of consciousness. Girish was a newcomer and did not know this, so he started to bring some water. Sri Ramakrishna asked him not to, saying, No, my dear sir, I can't drink now. The master and the devotees were silent a while. Sri Ramakrishna resumed the conversation. Master said to Yam, Well, have I done any wrong in telling these secret experiences? Yam did not know what to say and kept quiet. Master said, Why should there be any harm in it? I have told these things to create faith in you all. Let us stop here. Any questions? Tamal. The point is, we have to understand that statement in a special way. That means we should do the things properly and wait for the time. That's the meaning. We should not hasten. I have done it. Where is the result? I want quick result. And you can't force it. If you force it, the result will not be the desired one. It's just like forcing the fruit, plucking the fruit before it is unripe, before it is ripened. They do that. They pluck the fruit and keep and heat it up and artificially they make mature. It is not so tasteful as the ripe one in the tree itself. So what is needed is, Sri Ramakrishna pointedly tells, hold on to a path, hold on to your ideal, just jump into practices and never waste any more time in any other things. First you realize the goal, do your sadhana and keep waiting. Doing sadhana is very important on your, from your point of view. You should keep doing sadhanas, and then slowly you will understand by the grace of God how that sadhana is fructifying. It comes. It cannot but come. What is needed is mind should be properly purified by applying purifying agent, which Ramakrishna just now said, Viveka Vairagya, purifying agents. And so the whole thing is how you are able to manipulate your mind. That's all. So much of impurities are there in the mind, so we are not able to have any glimpse of spirituality, though we do little bit of spiritual sadhana. But what we are doing, if you really watch, they are just nothing. Just you repeat 108 times God's name in the morning and evening. Do you think God should come and... He will definitely come, surely. But the point is, repeating 108 times of God, how much time it will take? Say half an hour or 1 hour, whatever it is. But remaining 23 hours you are spending in other things. 23 hours your mind is engaged in other things. Just this 1 hour you just somehow force yourself to think of God. Then how can you expect the result immediately? 23 hours you are spending and occupying your mind with all other foreign elements into your mind. You are just pumping all the ideas, unwanted things into the mind. So this 1 hour thinking of God is not sufficient to undo the 23 hours of doing otherwise. So you have to be conscious of what you are doing. You must constantly remember your goal, and you must sincerely practice disciplines. When the weekends come, it's not that you should engage your weekends in some kind of fun making. No. Use those weekends for spiritual practices. But people talk of relaxation. What kind of relaxation? It only makes them more and more turbid. The way they relax is horrifying if you watch how they are relaxing. So that will not help you. So all other days you are all very busy in jobs and doing this thing, that thing. Weekends you are free. Use those weekends for right thinking. Otherwise, it is difficult to raise your mind. Sri Ramakrishna has come to show the way how to uplift our mind. Just we have to follow what he has said. Just simple. But probably time has to come. That means everything happens at the right time, means also as long as the mind is hankering after worldly things, the time is not ripe for spiritual life. That means when the time would come, probably when the mind has passed through some experiences, bitter experiences, then probably time has come to turn the mind towards God. Anyway, it is difficult. The more you are involved in the world, the more difficult it is to come towards God. It is true, not to be found. He is there. Any more question, Ramya? All right, we shall stop. Everything has to go through proper training. All right, we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. Own name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign in tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.